From the Arctic waters to the Antarctic via bicycle. It sounds a bit extreme, but it's being attempted in the name of water, or actually a lack of access to clean water. Dutchmen Joost Notenboom and Michael Rodenberg want to draw attention to this subject, so they're riding their bicycles made from bamboo and hemp from Alaska all the way to Argentina. They began back in July in Dead Horse, Alaska, and they hope to travel 30,000 kilometres through 16 countries to Tierra del Fuego. Now, the pair expect it will take 18 months to complete the journey. They've made it down the western US coast to San Francisco so far, so they've made their way to the CNN Bureau there to join us. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. First of all, maybe talk about this rather special bike. It's not an aluminium bike, it's made of hemp and bamboo.
Yes, exactly. So the tubes are made of bamboo and the connecting pieces are made of hemp. And the thing is, the cool thing about the bamboo is that it's a bit heavier than aluminium, but it's lighter than steel. So for touring it's pretty good. And the bamboo is flexible from itself, so it absorbs the shocks from the road.
And how
so it's a pretty comfortable ride.
It's clearly environmentally friendly, and you say it's a comfortable ride, but how does it withstand different kinds of weather?
So far, pretty good actually. I mean, there are a few scratches on it, but yeah, warm weather, rain, it handles it pretty good.
And for those of us who are not cycling enthusiasts, how easy or difficult is it to find a bike made of bamboo and hemp, or is it just something that came your way? How did you discover it, or have you known about it?
Well, this bamboo bike is made in Santa Cruz in California. So we heard about it on the internet and we went over to get one of those bikes. And this guy, Greg Calfee, he started making bamboo bikes about 10 years ago. And this is like the end product of 10 years of development.
All right. Let me now turn to you, Joost. You both met each other at school, I gather, when you were studying in Israel. What prompted you to do this? Obviously to draw attention to water, but what specifically was your aim?
Well, we were doing an exchange program in Israel from our home university, and I was writing my thesis about the issues between Israelis and Palestinians with respect to water. And it drew my attention to the fact that about 1 billion people in this world don't have access to clean drinking water. So after graduation, we got inspired to try and do something about it, and came up with this idea to cycle down from the Arctic to the Antarctic, basically, to draw attention to this problem and try to make a difference.
And in terms of making a difference, Joost, again, what do you think you're going to be able to practically achieve?
So we have you can divide our journey into sort of two parts. First is Alaska, Canada, and the lower 48, where we're speaking at universities and primary schools, getting people's attention and awareness, and hopefully raising donations for local water projects in Latin America that we're supporting.
Michael, if I could turn to you for a moment. I mean, it's often said in the Middle East particularly that the next war there could well be over water, or rather the lack of it. Do you see this as a political issue, or is it an environmental issue that by necessity has become political?
Well, it's both, really it's both, but you should ask this question to Joost. I mean, he studied this, he wrote his thesis about this subject, so I guess he can elaborate more about that.
The water issues in the Middle East, around the 70s, they ran out of enough resources to cover a growing population. But a lot of countries in the Middle East have created creative ways to deal with it, sort of desalination, whenever it's available. But it can be a point of political conflict as well, definitely. And
but also there's a question really where there are areas where there's enough water, that there isn't enough means, practical means, to get the water, clean water, to people who need it.
Definitely.
I mean, obviously you're travelling through North America at the moment, so presumably there's plenty of clean water on tap, literally. But what do you expect to find as you go further down the continent?
Well, I think that the trip will change quite significantly when once we cross into Latin America, and we'll see, especially in rural areas, see communities and people having to walk miles and miles to their nearest water source, which might even be polluted because of agricultural use of pesticides or even exploitation or those kinds of things. So I guess we'll see a lot of people trying their hardest to make like ends meet.
What is Michael, the most challenging aspect of this trip so far?
The most challenging aspect in this whole trip in the beginning was actually just making the decision to go. And the cycling itself has been perfect, been great. We've been meeting so much amazing people. I mean, this is what the whole trip is about: meeting people, sharing the road with other cyclists, talking to other students, raising awareness for the water crisis. And well, we had some accidents, we had some broken spokes, we had some flat tires and stuff like that. But those are all minor issues.
And you hope to arrive in Argentina when?
Around October next year.
Next year, my goodness, that's quite a way. A final question to both of you. Do you really think you'll be able to make a difference with this?
We hope so, even if it might be a small difference in the lives of a couple of people down there or wherever, or maybe inspire somebody else to pick up a cause and run with it. There are so many great stories around of people trying to make a difference in their everyday lives. And there's we're just one of many, and there's this great project called One Day on Earth that starts on Sunday. That's an attempt to share these stories. There's thousands of them all over the world, and share them through the medium of film. And we hope we can be one of those stories.
Fantastic. Joost and Michael, thank you very much indeed for taking time out from your trip to come into our San Francisco bureau and bring one of your bikes along as well.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Well, as you just heard, Michael and Joost's remarkable story will be included in the One Day on Earth project, and that's a global 24-hour media event happening on October 10th, just a few days from now. You can take a look at the onedayonearth.org website to find out more. It is worth viewing the trailer on the front page of the site because it's inspiring stuff and anyone can take part.